Hello, spiritual viewers. Welcome to tonight's yoga class at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You all expressed an interest in some basic yoga moves, and we're going to go through the basics, and we are going to start standing today, and we will end on the ground in seated position. You can do most of these movements with just your arms. If you want to refer back to the Choga video that we posted last year at Lions Gate on August the 8th. That does include the Choga video. So the moves that I'll be doing today, as far as Warrior 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 3 pose, we will are still able to do in the chair. So without further ado, we're going to start today by taking a wide stance with our feet along the long side of your yoga mat. You want your knee joints to be soft at all times, and I call it tuck your bucket. So this is kind of a banana spine here. So if you pretended you had a tail and pulled it forward, you're tucking your bucket. So you're pulling up towards your nose, and that relieves back pain when you're sitting. You want to have a flattened lower back as much as possible rather than that banana shape. Okay, just a little tip. So we're going to start once again with our feet in a wider stance, wider than our hip bones, soft at the knee joints. We're going to breathe in as we reach our arms all the way up. And we're just going to let our arms come down and cross in front of us. Start feeling those shoulder muscles warm up. Now I want you to notice the difference between when you reach skyward with your arms. Now let's focus on, as we reach up, we're reaching with our rib cage, relaxing the arms. So we're going to start adding on to those movements, breathing in, timing your exhale through your nose if you can, inhaling and exhaling. So now we're going to turn this into a swan dive. We're going to dive forward all the way, keeping the back of your head level with your neck and shoulders. So we have a little arm airplane going on here with your hips centered. We're just going to gently lift one of our wings, softening that same side knee just a little bit. And then pressing back into your centered position with your wings and your legs. Let's lift up that opposite airplane wing, pulling that belly button up and in, softening that same side knee. Just a peek down to make sure the knees are either behind or on top of the ankles. Push off that foot, coming back nice and flat. And then we're going to sink our airplane down inside of our hanger. We're going to bend at the elbows and just relax your shoulders. Your forearms can rest above your knees. We're going to take our hands down to the mat or our fingertips. Big breath in as you lift your hips up. Soften the knees and soften the elbows behind you. This is called a forward fold. Very, very good for lower back pain. Our spine gets compounded. So we're just creating space in between the vertebrae. And as you breathe, we want that energy to come down the spine. If you'd like to get a little heavier with your upper body to really help that spine open up a little bit quicker, you can add your fingertips to your elbows. Keep breathing all the way down. You might need to shake some static energy out of the shoulders. Keep exhaling until you feel a heavy jaw. And once you do, gently shake your head no. And a nice slow yes, chin to chest. Big breath with your chin tucked. Exhale, releasing that static energy out of the crown. We're going to come back to that bent knee. Wide arm sweep, push through your feet evenly, reach with the rib cage. And we're going to come smooth that out all together. These are called sunflower warm-ups. So we're swan diving into that airplane hold, bending our knees, sinking our rib cage inside our thighs. Exhaling down, scooping up those sunflowers, sharing them with everyone, sharing that joy. Keep that breath 3 more times. And we're trying to inhale and exhale through the nose as much as possible, keeping that heat inside the body. Last one here, all the way through. Big breath in, reaching up, palms into prayer, softening the knees. Exhale, bringing that energy back down to our heart center. Full breath, inflating the diaphragm. And on the deflate, we want to push our elbows down towards our feet. You might be feeling a little tension on the sides of your neck. Keep that pressure pushing down. Try lowering your chin and raising your chin back into level heads. Good breath here. Inflate the diaphragm. Add that lower belly seatbelt or zipper. Push off as you exhale to bring your feet back together. And just shake any of that static energy off of your hands and feet. So I'm going to be starting on the top of my mat. If you want to come to one side of your mat, the foot that we're going to be stepping back with, if you're angled like me here with your mat today, step back with the foot closest to me or to this visual. So we're going to start with our heels underneath our hip bones, balance on the back foot with a soft knee joint. We're going to tap that front toe back, just the length of where you would naturally tap. Then we're going to swing that heel down to the ground, flatten that foot, and then just look down gently. Make sure you can still see your toes. If you only see your knee, bring your body back just a little bit more. You want to be able to see your toes. Keep pressing down. The calf muscles are tight today. Pressing down into that back heel. We're going to bring our fingertips back to those hip bones. Breathe in. On the exhale, start with the zip. Exhale, lift that back heel just a little bit, kind of like a rudder on a boat. And we're going to make sure that our hip bones are facing the short side of our mat with our shoulders completing a rectangle shape. Keep breathing, pressing back into that heel, especially if you're tight today. And we're going to think about grabbing those tails again. So just looking down, might feel good to pause if the back of your neck feels tight. We're going to reach inside the knee, grabbing our pretend tail. Take a good breath in. And as we exhale, we're going to pull that tail forward, tucking our pelvis toward our nose, pausing at the shoulders. Take your next breath. And zip and squeeze, raising our arms up above us in our warrior one. Your arms should look like the number 11. And if we feel like we're unstable here, that's totally normal. Yoga, Hatha Yoga especially, we're maintaining poses to work on balancing our bodies. Taking a breath here. Relax the shoulders, lifting the chin. That's another option. And if you're experienced yogis or you feel like you've got a good seatbelt lock on with those lower abs, you can certainly close your eyes for 1 or 2 breaths here. That will challenge your balance. Let's inhale, lowering our heads, moving into warrior two. Our arms are going to come as wide as our mat, and we're going to fan that back toe open towards the long side of your mat so we can heel toe into a wider position. So I've got one set of toes with that bent knee facing the short side, and I have the other set of toes facing front. Pretend you're touching a wall here with your glutes and your shoulder blades. That knee is probably going to come along the way. And that's really challenging to try to be the toast inside or the bread inside the toaster. We're going to really reach our arms nice and wide. Take a good solid breath in. Let's look at that bent knee side of our body, relaxing our shoulders, expanding our arm span, and gently pulling that same side hip bone forward underneath the bent knee side of the body. We're going to bend that back elbow and just set that hand underneath the glute. And we're going to lift up the rib cage on your bent knee side. Really reaching with the rib. Hold that extension. Retract your shoulder blade. Keep breathing. And add that zipper back as you exhale back into your warrior two arms. Again, looking towards that bent knee side. Take a good breath. And on the exhale, without moving your knees or legs, just the upper body is going to slide forward. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Feel that stretch in that top oblique and also the challenge of that muscle. We're going to take our hand above the knee, reaching up. Our extended warrior option 1 here. Option 2 would be to slide down to your forearm. That's my favorite part of the pose. It relaxes our hips just a little bit more. Now we're going to turn this top palm towards our heads, reaching up and over, creating a nice long line. You can look past your fingertips or slowly walk your eyes down the wall into the ground. And you can also look forward at any spot that will help you hold your balance here. So one side of an X created with my reaching fingertips and my backside heel. Let's take a nice big breath, reaching back up, turning our palm toward our imaginary wall. We're going to hinge at that elbow, taking our knuckles down to our waist. Relax that top shoulder blade. We're just going to momentarily twist our upper body towards the ground. Now we're parallel to the ground and the sky with that upper body. With your knuckles resting there, just underneath the waistline, just let gravity drop the elbow to the floor. And we're getting a rear deltoid and medial deltoid stretch there. Take your next breath, leveling your elbow. And as we exhale, we're going to lift our shoulder blades and paste them back to our imaginary wall, painting the sky with that top hand reaching up and over. And we're going to go ahead and paint down the wall, reaching to the ground with that same hand. Turning our back heel to the sky. We're going to wiggle back with that back foot until we're in a full lunge position here. And you can either reach out with that back hand from here, or you can lower down to your knee in a runner's position. Either way, we're going to twist into that lunge and just allow our belly button to kiss the inside of that thigh. Keep breathing, and we're focusing on pulling up rather than pressure on that bottom hand. We're going to hinge that top elbow. Bring that back hand outside of the foot. Come on down to your front knee if you haven't yet, relaxing that back foot. We're going to push off the front foot, tucking our chin. And then we're going to walk our front hand, back hand, fingertips up in pyramid here or into a flat palm underneath the shoulder blades. Take your next breath with your chin tucked, making sure this front hip is not swaying towards the long side of your mat. And we're going to exhale, bringing our toes to the sky and just pulling both of our glutes back evenly. Taking our next breath. Exhale, softening through your elbows. taking your chin closer to your shin. Say hello to your hamstrings. If your hamstrings feel pretty good and not too challenged here, you can press back through your long leg side glute or that back side glute. Just push back. And then we're going to gently shift our weight forward once again into that runner's lunge where we're going to press the front hip flexor toward the ground. And lifting our head, lengthening our arms, taking our next breath in. On the exhale, pulling your hips back, but just bring your foot with you and your knee, pushing your hips all the way back. The infamous child's pose, everybody's favorite. Relaxing those shoulders. You can also take your elbows to the side and rest your forehead on the top palm if they're stacked. You can also make two fists stacked and bring your forehead to that top fist. And we're just going to slow our breathing back down to that long inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose. 2 more times. Let it really relaxing the shoulders. Breathing in and out. The next part of our basics, we're going to be reaching both arms forward in our number 11 shape. Make sure your middle finger is in the center of your middle of your shoulder or your anterior deltoid, right in the center, number 11s. And our first part of the pose, this is called a flow. We're going to just shift our body weight so that our shoulder blades are over our palms, pulling the shoulders back. At the same time, we extend our crown forward, scooping the belly button up and in as our elbows aim down to the floor or towards our rib cage. Relax your hips to the floor. Relax the shoulders. And we're going to go ahead and inhale, bring one hand forward at a time as we look ahead, making sure our elbows are right underneath those shoulders. We're going to tuck one toe, lift up your entire leg, just reset those quads so they're nice and flat each side. Take a nice breath in, and as your diaphragm fills up like a balloon, notice that it taps the ground. And as we deflate, we have plenty of room here to breathe. One more inflate. On the deflate, we're going to put pressure into our elbows and forearms and just gently extend our rib cage forward, just pulling the ribs. It's like you're pulling your tree. You're growing through your spine or lengthening your spine. And we're going to exhale back down to the ground, bringing those hands back under your shoulders where we started, squeezing the elbows in towards your waistline. We're actually going to be inflating with our diaphragm, so not any pressure on the mat. And then we're going to press ever so slightly up as we bring those rib cages forward. On the exhale, squeeze across your safety belt of those lower abdominals all the way back to child's pose. Relax your shoulders. Take a good breath in and out. And we're going to add that all together now, all 4 poses. Inhaling out from the kneeling plank, drawing the shoulders back. Elbows in towards our rib cage as we lower down to the ground. Release the pressure on your hands and shoulders. Inflate the diaphragm. Pull the ribs. Gently press from the hands into Cobra. Exhale, hips up and back into child's pose. Let's keep going. Breathe deeply in and out and in and out. Now, anytime, once your body fatigues or when it does, it's okay. You will build up stamina to do multiple flows. And then eventually we'll be pushing into up dog through our feet and a full down dog all the way up from hands to feet and moving from a full body position. But today, we are just remaining here. Now pause back in child's pose, slowing your breath down. It's a great time to work your ribs inside of your thighs. You can bring your knees to the sides of your mat with your big toes touching. That allows the diaphragm plenty of room to inflate and deflate. Let's go ahead and move back up to all fours. Bring those knees back into position. We're going to tuck the toes and just gently push back through the pads of your feet. If you enjoy toe stretches, I know I do. Breathing in. Exhale, we're all going to come up to full down dog just momentarily. Push out of your hands into your feet, ears inside of your shoulders, and we're going to walk our dog by just pedaling our knees, pressing through the heels one at a time. And then we're going to move into a forward fold position. Couple different options here. Soften your knees. You can either yoga hop, that might come later. For today, you might push off the feet and or the hands, whatever's more comfortable for you. Tucking that chin. If your hamstrings are still very tight, you can pop your heel toes open just into a little bit wider of a stance. We're going to inhale by dragging our fingers up our shins into monkey, pausing above the knees, pulling our bones back as we extend our crown forward. Take a nice breath in, softening the knees, tucking the pelvis and the chin. Let's stack the spine one vertebrae at a time with a shoulder roll up and back. Wide arm sweep with soft knees. Exhaling to heart center. Good breath in. Pressure down to the elbows, pushing towards your feet as we extend the crown upward. Inflate at the heart center. Exhale, opening your palms beside you into mountain pose, and finish that exhale with that breath coming down your arms, past your belly, into your hips. Take your next breath. And exhale down your legs and into your feet. Shake off any static energy in your hands and kick it out of your feet. We're going to repeat everything again from the opposite position, so the other side of your mat. Balancing, starting with those number 11 legs under hip joints and shoulders. Yoga is a lot of math. And we're going to balance on that back foot as we tap our front foot straight behind us, just the natural length of our leg. We're going to swing that back heel down, soften the front knee, looking down, we can still see our toes, really pressing into that back heel. And let's find those hands on our hips. Take your breath. On the exhale, remember we're zipping, lifting that back heel as we rotate the pelvis toward the short side of your mat. We want to get rid of that lower back banana spine here. Gently look down inside that front knee. Let's add that zipper. We're going to reach down and grab our imaginary tail. Take a good breath. And on the exhale, pulling that tail forward, pausing at the height of your shoulders. Next breath. Zip and tuck as we reach through our rib cage into Warrior One, opening our arms in a nice number 11 with relaxed shoulders. Now keep really pressing down into that back heel. Our foot is nice and evenly distributed with weight. If you'd like to add on, you can lift your chin to challenge your balance, softening those shoulders, releasing the jaw, and breathing in and out. Option here to close your eyes if you'd like to challenge your balance for 1 or 2 breaths. And don't be surprised if you are better on one side of the body than you are the other. The next inhale, we'll open our eyes and level our heads. Moving into Warrior Two position, take your breath first. On the exhale, weight in that back heel makes it easier to swing those toes open to the front side of your mat. That back leg is going to heel toe nice and wide to your comfort level, just so we can let the hips start to open up. Now the bent knee side is going to be the hip that feels the tightest. So what we really want to do is, again, pretending like the back of our glutes, our shoulder blades, and the back of our head would be lined up on an imaginary wall. And that bent knee is going to want to sneak forward. So really reaching through those fingertips, and just visualize that we have a number 11 shape here from shoulders to hip bones. Let's go ahead and bend that back elbow, setting your hand just underneath the glute. Inhale, lifting that front knee rib cage, the knee that's bent, that same side rib cage. Reach up through the rib, but then retract your shoulder blade. And we don't want to slide down that back leg. Common misconception on reverse warrior. We shouldn't feel any pinching in that lower part of our back. It's about hip to rib space increasing. Let's inflate back to our Warrior One arms, back into our two position. Exhale, turning the chin, looking out over those opposite fingertips. Good breath here. Upper body only, let's slide. Without moving the knee, feel that oblique stretch. Feel the oblique be challenged, relax your shoulders. Let's take that front hand above the bent knee. Elbows aimed behind you and reach your free arm up to the sky. Option one, slide your forearm forward so that you can rest just above the knee, relaxing through the hips. Keep breathing here. Turning our palm toward our faces, slowly reach up and over, creating that opposite side. That would be our X shape. Reaching with your rib, retracting the shoulder. Slowly let your eyes come back down to the ground. We're going to reach back up to the sky. You can bring your eyes forward slowly. Turning your palm to the back side, we're going to paint our hand down our imaginary wall until our knuckles reach that middle part of our back. And on the exhale, we're going to rotate that upper body to sandwich between the ground and the sky. On the next exhale, let gravity drop that elbow with your knuckles still resting on your waist. Keep breathing and inflate. And as we deflate, start with that lower ab zip. And let's go ahead and get our shoulder blades and elbow back on the wall, as well as both glutes as best as we can. We're going to paint the sky. We'll save bound angle for next time and reach one more time up and over. And then we'll continue painting that same hand to the ground directly underneath our shoulder line. The back heel will lift towards the sky. And we're going to wiggle those toes back, making sure this front knee is either behind or directly on top of the ankle bone. We're going to reach that back hand forward, and from a full lunge or a bent knee lunge or kneeling lunge, let's twist that lunge, lifting the back rib cage skyward. And again, kissing our belly button to that inner thigh and pulling up through the fingertips, taking weight off of the forehand. Inhale, exhale. We're going to hinge that top elbow. Rotate the chest to the ground, pyramid fingers either side of that front foot. We're going to push off that front foot, bringing our hips back. Now, this position may be it for you here on this this back hamstring, and that's okay. Let's relax that back foot. We're going to walk our front hand, back hand, either pyramid fingers under the shoulders if you're really tight. You can try to come down to flat palms next. We're going to tuck our chin, double check that our hip to knee line is still on our little railroad track of alignment. Breathe in. And as we exhale, we're going to pull the toes skyward, soften the elbows, bringing our chin closer to our shin if you want a little bit more. And the last add-on, again, staying in alignment, knee to hip. Last add-on would be to push back with your back glute, and that adds a little bit more intensity to that hamstring stretch. Let's look to the top of our mat and coming into pyramid fingers, pressing into our runner stretch, dropping that front hip flexor forward. You can lengthen the hands and arms here, lengthen the neck. Take a good breath in. As we exhale, we're going to pull the hips back, bring the knee back with us, and set our hips back to child's pose, walking our arms long. You can also bring your elbows a little wider and one palm at a time, stacking with your forehead on top. Can also come to both fists stacked here with that forehead and your top fist. Keep breathing. So usually after holding those poses, we will notice an increase in our heart rate. So you want to take this time of resting just to bring that breath back in to that longer inhale and longer exhale. And now that we know how to do our basic flow, we're going to reach our arms out to that number 11 position with our middle finger right in alignment of the front shoulder, your anterior deltoid. Let's go ahead and make sure we're doing one breath each movement. Inflating out to that knee plank, drawing the shoulders back, extending your crown. Elbows in towards your rib cage, lowering down with a straight spine. Relax your shoulders, inflate your diaphragm, then pull your rib cage forward, gently pressing up, always bent elbows here. And as we exhale, squeeze at that lower belly zipper or belt. We're going to keep flowing. One breath. Exhale each movement. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to do 3 to 4 more. Yogi's choice, whether you want to stay here on your knees. You can always, after coming into Cobra, push up to up dog, just on the top of your feet, lengthening your arms and hips coming up and back, either to child's pose or full down dog. Inhaling plank, Yogi's choice. Elbows in, setting your body down if that was quite enough for you, and hips up and back. And again, whenever your body is done, if your heart rate comes too high, go ahead and rest in child's pose. It's going to be the last one for me, but certainly this is yogi's choice, so you can do what you like. Come on down to your knees and back to that child's pose. Slowing your breath down. And my favorite is to take elbows to the sides of the mat, fist stack with your forehead on the top fist, and just move your knees open to a wider position with your big toes touching. And that gives all the space underneath here for our diaphragm to inflate and deflate. Inflating and deflating. Last couple. We're going to go ahead and push away from our hands. You can bring your elbows in, pressing up from your hands, moving back towards an all fours. But this time, just bring one knee forward so that you're in a seated position, any way that's comfortable for you. You can come in butterfly pose with your feet together. If we have achy knees or just bad knee joints, I find it more comfortable to take your legs longer. If it's just one knee in particular, you can leave one leg out, one leg in. It does not matter. You just want to be comfortable here. So we're going to pull up nice and tall through the spine, bring our wrists to our knees. And I'll invite you to press your middle finger and thumb together. And we talked today on the live about observation. We're just observing our breath here, whether it's quickened and really how much control we do have of calming our energy by simply slowing down our inflate and squeezing around your spine for the deflate. And if you do feel your heart or chest center rising and falling with your breath, we're going to gently, in our mind's eye, send that exhale down to the diaphragm, where we'll inflate the balloon of our belly toward our lap and deflate and squeeze toward the spine. Continue that slower breath. And notice how much longer we can inhale for when we are using our diaphragm in lieu of that breath in the chest. On the next exhale, sink all your body weight down to your root chakra. And in your mind's eye, seeing the words in red script, I am powerful. I am grounded. I am safe. And I am protected. On the next inhale, moving into the sacral chakra, just underneath our belly button, squeezing that muscular seat belt. And the more we do this together, you'll also feel the muscles of the lower back contract towards your spine, like an outer ring of a tree, squeezing the very center ring, seeing the color orange of that sacral chakra, where we release our fears, which is false evidence appearing real. And we call in our creative light, where we're in a theta state of mind. Just imagine in your mind's eye the last time you were doing something you thoroughly enjoyed and time passed by as mere minutes. Squeezing as you exhale. On the next inhale, we're going to grow the tree of our spine, lengthening our trunk and imagining our rib cage as the divining rods that will lead us to our best and highest joys by simply asking what would bring me the most joy today in its most simple form. Inflating that yellow solar plexus chakra. Deflating towards your center ring. Seeing words in a bright, beautiful yellow that say, I am joyful. I honor my light. I allow graciousness in. On the next inhale, lengthening our spine even more by lifting our rib cage a little further from the hips, visualizing the lungs as our tree branches, inhaling the color green, and that light is going to fill our own unique heart's cup, and only you know what it truly needs to be full. As we fill that cup up all the way with our breath, seeing that beautiful energy overflow. You can also add hands to your heart center and pulling out that overflow of energy in front of you. Expanding our arms wide as the energy that we share with others, because our own heart's cup remains full and constantly replenished by ourselves as a radical act of love and self-love. On the next breath in, we can bring our palms back to heart center and lift the chin, releasing the jaw, relaxing our shoulders. Breathing in the color blue. And exhale, feel that energy feeding the heart and filling up that green cup, constantly replenishing with fresh water and fresh self-love. Seeing the green words, I am loving, I am lovable, and I am worthy of receiving and surrendering to healthy love that does not deplete my cup or that is out of balance, because I know to no longer overgive from it. Inhaling back up into the throat chakra, again releasing the jaw. This time, drop the tongue from the roof of your mouth if we need any help. Releasing any tightness. Inhaling that blue light of our communication, our throat chakra. And as that light pours in and connects to the heart center, seeing in blue writing, I speak my truth kindly. I speak words of kindness to myself and therefore others. Inhaling up past the throat chakra with our thumbs pressing on our third eye of the sixth chakra. Feel free to add pressure through the thumbs and any circular motions that may feel good to you, relaxing the shoulders down from the ears. Inflating a beautiful purple light from the tips of your fingers, from the higher soul, into the tips of your fingers, through your thumbs, and into our third eye. Seeing that purple energy flood from above and into you. Breathing in, forming a purple heart with your fingertips. Exhale as you place your fingertips on your forehead, relaxing your arms even more. Breathing in. As we exhale, pulling open the curtains of our higher self, tucking them behind our ears, trailing down our jaw back into the heart center. And as we exhale, see if you can pull behind the bridge of your nose, right into the center of the brain and the pineal gland. You can picture a nautilus shell. And in purple script, see the words, I am intuitive. I trust my higher self. And when my cup is full in my heart, I am not depleted or overgiving. I understand I have a deeper and easier access into my own soul's knowledge from this lifetime and all lifetimes that are relevant to helping me this lifetime increase my vibrational frequency, therefore of my home and those in it, and eventually expanding that higher frequency of light energy to all those around me, healing hearts and raising our vibes together. On this next inhale, up and out of the crown chakra, visualizing white light up and above your head as high as you can reach. Take a good breath in. Big exhale, reaching your arms wide, creating your sphere of light, pausing at the shoulders as above. Exhale, letting your knuckles fall to the ground, finishing your sphere underneath you. And just see your body in your mind's eye floating right inside of that energetic sphere. And this is our own personal fishbowl of energy. It's just physics that emanates outside of our body, within our aura. Bringing our palms back into prayer. Seeing the words, I am. Notice the color of that statement. Breathe it in and know that that color is a message from your very own subconscious to your consciousness. The light in me welcomes and honors the light within you, and may you carry this higher vibrational frequency of energy with you until we meet again. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed today's session. I hope you feel that amazing shift of energy and know that simply by sitting and breathing, you can just repeat that last part of the exercise anytime that your body is telling you that you are dysregulated and you need to come back. And when we talk about grounding, that is grounding our energy in a very literal and physical way. So thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for supporting the channel. We love you guys very, very much. And we will see you this Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our next live. Goodbye.